Are you wondering why a Boston Terrier might have one blue eye and one brown eye? I was curious too, so I have Dr. Reinhard with us today, and she's going to discuss why this occurs. And be sure to stay till the end because she's going to explain the health issues related to having a Boston that has one blue eye. Coming up. Hey everybody, welcome to the Boston Terrier Society YouTube channel. Consider subscribing if you're someone who wants to learn more about the breed, learn what it's like to be an owner, hear expert interviews like the one today, or connect with other Boston Terrier lovers just like yourself. I'm Donnie Gardner, the founder of BostonTerrierSociety.com, and that is Bella, my Boston of over 10 years. And this is mainly just a personal question. I was curious, why do Boston Terriers have one blue eye and one brown eye, and others don't? And I've seen online where there could be possible health issues, so I wanted to get a veterinarian on just to get their perspective to see why this occurs. Without further ado, Dr. Reinhard, thanks so much for coming on the show today.
Hey Donnie, thank you for having me on the Boston Terrier Society YouTube channel.
This is more of a personal question. Why do some Boston Terriers have one blue eye and one brown eye?
AKC breed standards suggest that Boston Terriers should have brown eyes. That being said, I have seen some Boston patients with one or both of the eyes that are blue. Why does this happen? Typically, this is a genetic abnormality. This is something in the genes that leads to a lack of pigmentation within the eyes. The blue eyes are just a lack of that brown pigmentation, and that happens because of a gene. This gene is also the same gene that may lead to your Boston having more white fur. You may notice if your Boston has a blue eye that they also have more white fur on them and around their face as well.
Now, I've seen some people, there's a lot of forums out there, and then on Facebook, are there any health concerns with a Boston that has one blue eye?
The good news is that Boston Terriers with blue eyes typically don't have any vision problems. These dogs are usually able to see just fine. One thing that I do get concerned about, though, is the potential for deafness. There have been reports in some Boston Terrier puppies of congenital deafness. And congenital deafness is essentially deafness that they were born with as puppies. There hasn't been specific studies in Boston Terriers to link the blue eyes with congenital deafness, but there has been research in other dog breeds. Dalmatians with blue eyes are statistically more likely to have congenital deafness than Dalmatians that don't have blue eyes. That would be one concern that I would consider, is the possibility for deafness. That being said, just because your Boston Terrier has blue eyes doesn't necessarily mean that they are deaf or will become deaf.
Now, when it comes to a dog that has one blue eye, is there anything differently I should do when it just comes to overall grooming or anything special I should do?
There honestly isn't anything special that I would do with the eyes in this case. They lack that pigment, that brown pigment, but otherwise they function pretty normally. I would recommend making sure that the hearing is okay though. You can have your vet check your dog's hearing to make sure that it is normal. Another thing you could try at home, if your dog is fast asleep on the couch, you can come up behind them and make a loud noise, like a loud clap. And if they wake up, then they're likely not deaf. If they are fast asleep and you make really loud noises and they're not waking up, there is a possibility that they could be deaf. You can speak with your veterinarian if you are concerned, and they can also refer you to a specialist who can do special hearing tests. There is a special test called the BAER test, B-A-E-R, that actually is able to detect if your dog is able to hear or not. This might be a good test if you think maybe your dog is deaf in just one ear, or if you're concerned that your dog is deaf.
Okay, well, that's really helpful and informative. I'm sure some other people had questions like this, like I did, and I think this really helps. Thanks.
Thanks, Donnie, for having me again on the Boston Terrier Society YouTube channel.
Okay, I hope this interview helped you if you have a Boston Terrier that has one blue eye, or if you're just curious about it. My question of the day is, what question do you have, or what question would you like to learn more about when it comes to Boston Terriers? Post a question in the comments below, and that way in future videos I can bring on a vet to answer those specific questions. In the meantime, if you want to learn more about the Boston Terrier breed, check out this video, and it's 20 reasons why Boston Terriers are the best dog breed. A little biased. Or check out my latest video here. Otherwise, until next time, life is better with a Boston.